welcome back to my channel. I am so sorry that it's taken me so long to post another video. I had finals right before Christmas time. Christmas time came, got a little busy. So I wanted to do this video in honor of tomorrow being my last treatment and it being close to the end of the year. I wanted to talk about the 12 lessons I've learned from my cancer diagnosis, and in the last 6 months, the lessons that I've learned while going through this journey with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I'll get right into it. I do have them written down here because I didn't want to forget. But so the first thing I learned was don't sweat the small stuff. Everything works out the way that it's supposed to work. Me being a Christian and a believer, I do honestly know that there's such a peace in giving things over to God and just trusting Him wholeheartedly. So don't sweat the small stuff, because it is going to work out. It may not work out the way you want it to or when you want it to, but it will work out. It always does. The second lesson I've learned was trust God always and always. So trust Him all the time, because ultimately He directs everything in your life. It's up to you to trust Him and let Him lead the way, but you got to know, like, He's going to take care of it. Everything. Every single thing. There's not one thing that He's not going to take care of. So, and always, always. Number 3. Just because it didn't happen the way you envisioned it doesn't mean it's not going to happen perfectly. So I know there's times where, we have a huge imagination and we know how we want things to be. I don't know about you, but I'm very particular about how I like things done and how I see things for myself. But I had to learn, like, during this journey, like, okay, well, just because it didn't work out the way you envisioned it to work out doesn't mean it's not going to happen, like, in the perfect timing, the perfect way, and still be beautiful. Thing I learned is that love will conquer everything. So no matter what comes your way, I know during this time there was things like that I felt like was done wrong to me, or things that I didn't really like, or things that I was hurt about, when family or friends that you thought would be there weren't there, or certain circumstances happen. And the best way to deal with those things is with love. Like, don't, in the past, me personally, I can't speak for anybody else, but me personally, I would want that person to feel what they made me feel. Not necessarily that I wanted to hurt them, but you can't, I always wanted to be the person teaching the lesson, and you can't be that way. And I had to learn that love will conquer everything. So even if my feelings are hurt, or even if I didn't like the way someone did something, the best way to go about it is with love. Even if, I had to talk to that person, or, even if I tell them what bothered me, it's still so important to love them, because they're going to respect you, and you can savor that relationship by just showing love, even when things are not going well, or things are not going the way you think it should. And one thing about my journey, again, I would say, I know I've said this a million times, but I've had friends and family who have been so supportive of me. Like, I will not trade them for the world. They mean everything to me. And they really taught me, to just love, and to just, no matter what you go through, just show love, even to strangers, even to people who cut you off on the highway. Like, the smallest thing that would aggravate you any other time. Just show love. Like, don't try to repay anger with anger, or hurt with hurt. That's not the best way to win. The way to win is to repay that hurt with love, that anger with love, and everything will work out smoothly. Okay, so the 5th thing I learned was what you speak over yourself is what direction and path you put on your life. So declare new things over yourself. And I've said this in my previous video. Just, say, what you want to happen in your life. You have to speak positive. You have to think positive over yourself, or those things won't manifest in your life. So you have to be careful, because when you speak, you hear yourself. And one thing is, when you keep those negative thoughts in your life, in your mind, that's what manifests in your life. That's what you give off to other people. And you definitely don't want to be that way, because life can be so much easier if you just think a different way. It's all about perspective. All about perspective. Number 6, even when you feel alone, you're not alone. There's times where I was going through this journey, and because I was the only one going through chemotherapy, I felt like no one really understands what I'm going through. You can't really relate unless you've been through it. And even though that is true, you're not alone in the process. You're not going through this alone. The process with cancer is a long process. Sometimes you feel like, when is this going to be over? And that's with, I think, any obstacle in life. And I think this moment in my life taught me how to deal with things outside of just cancer, just life in general. Because even when you feel like there's nobody there, there's nobody that understands, God understands. So when you talk to God, you're allowing him to come into your life. You're opening the gates of communication between you and God. And he wants to know what you're going through. He wants to know what's bothering you, what's hurting you, what's going good in your life. He wants you to be able to communicate with him, because he is right there. Like, even when you feel like there's no one there for you, God is always there for you. One thing that I do daily is I write in my journal. I'll write in my journal, and I'll talk to God, and I'll tell God what I need. I'll thank him. I give him worship and praise, and then I'll read my word, and things are just so much better for me. There's such a peace that I have because I take the time to just talk to God and let him know what's going on with me. And there was times where I did feel alone, like emotional. You go through that emotional process. You can't always be strong. I mean, that's just not how it works. You're not going to always be strong. Everything is not going to flow perfectly. But in the midst of it, when you do get to feel that way, and you know that someone is there with you, you feel 100 times better. Not just 10, 100. So, number 7. Number 7 flows with number 6 for me. It's okay to cry, but really don't pack your bags and live there. I've seen this quote a million times on Instagram. Don't pack your bags and live in that misery. Things are going to happen, but it's not the end. It's not the worst thing in your life. It will pass. Things will get better. But if you pack your bags and you live there, you're going to live in that sorrow and that misery. And I've seen a lot of people take on their sickness as their identity. Or, they're so negative, or they talk so much about their sickness and what they're going through, that the people around them start to always feel sorry for them, and they're always wanting to help them, or they're always worried about them, that they can't even live their own life. Don't pack and live there, because when you pack and you live there, you have to understand that there's a people around you who live there too, and you're feeding into whatever they have going on. That's not it's not cool. You don't want to stay in a place where you are feeling that way, because that's not the end. It is more to life. Past that one situation, you will get through it. You will make it. Everything will get better. Okay, number 8. Keep people around you who uplift you, are positive, and can speak life into your life. So, my very best friends, they all do this for me. For an example, I have a best friend. Her name is Alexis. She has a daughter, my goddaughter Kinsley. Alexis is always the type of person who you can say, I'm feeling this way, and she's going to say, God has already taken care of it. I have a friend named Lene. She's the same way. Princess, she's the same way. Just to name a few, because I have a host of friends who do it. But I say that to say that you need people who are going to do that to you all the time. Like my friend Lene, she will put me in my place real fast. Like, girl, stop it. Cut it out. You know that's not how you're designed. You know God has a purpose for you. And it's like I want to live out that example, but I can't do that alone. So keep people in your life and in your corner who are going to hold you accountable for your purpose in life. Keep people in your corner who are going to hold you accountable for your relationship with God. Because this walk, you know, it is a walk for you and God, but you can't be, or you can't flourish if your walk with God is just alone. Like you're not able to communicate with somebody, or somebody can feed into you positivity, you can feed into them positivity, and it's not just a one way street, it's two ways. So you know, I don't have to ask my friends to say something positive to me. That's who they are. My friend Chanel, that's who she is. You know, like, she's the type, we both grew up in the church, but most of my friends have. So it's easy to keep them around me and to want to be around them, because I know they're going to keep me at a place where I can be happy, where I can be positive, where we're talking about our goals and our future. We're planning trips, where, you know, doing things that are healthy for us. And you got to keep people who are like that around you, because that helps you to grow. That helps you to be a better person. Because at the same time, they correct me when I'm wrong. They tell me, you know, you shouldn't have went about it that way. Or here was a better way that you could have done this. And I can do the same thing for them. You got to keep people in your corner who are like that. Because there's no other way for you to grow if you don't. If you stay in your comfort zone and you're not willing to keep people around you who are going to push you, who are going to tell you to get out of bed and do what you got to do, then that's on you. Those are your choices. You also have to be that person to have those type of people in your life. Okay, so number 9, if it can be done, you can do it too. So I am the type of person that I always feel, this is just, you know, my motto. If somebody else can learn how to do it, I can learn how to do it. Because we were all born with nothing on our minds. So we were all born and conformed into this world, and we learn habits from our parents. We learn habits from our community, from our schools. We learn things. So if I have the same 24 hours as Beyonce, let me learn how to use my 24 hours as effectively as Beyonce. If Bill Gates can make this amount of money, let me learn how to make that amount of money. You can learn things. If you want to know them, you can learn them on your own. It's research. It's time. It's what you put into yourself. You have to invest in yourself, in your future. No one can hold you back but you. So if it can be done, I can do it too. You can do it. And I say that to say, don't allow negative things to come into your life, or people to tell you negative things like, oh, you can't do this, or that's going to be hard. It might be hard. It may be difficult. It may take more than 1 year, but you can do it. You can do it. Number 10, you are the only one in your way, whether it be mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. Only you can hold you back. Your sister can't hold you back. Your mother, they can't hold you back. Your cousin, uncle, brother, they can't hold you back. You can hold you back, though. They might say things that may discourage you. They may say things or they may do things that discourage you. Like, the only person that can stop you from being anything in the world is you. Not your skin color, not your religion, not your age, not your sex. So if you're male or female, it doesn't matter. Only you can hold you back. It doesn't matter, because if God before me, who can stand against me? Nobody. Only you. Only you. Okay, number 11. Appreciate the people that are there for you, and don't discredit those with the hearts to be there for you by minimizing the people who aren't physically there. So there were times in my journey where, you know, people had intentions to be there for me, intentions to come visit me, intentions to call me or text me, but they couldn't do so because they, you know, everybody's living their life. I was so thankful for everyone, because even if they didn't make it through, they thought of me enough to. Even if they couldn't be there physically, a lot of people prayed for me. And what you don't want to do is discredit people there, because they may have had a good heart to be there for you. They may have really had the best intentions to be there for you. But things happen. People live their life. People have children. People go to school. People live out of town. That's just, the way life is. But when you're just thankful for everybody, you're not making people feel left out or making them feel bad. Because at the end of the day, they're not obligated to do anything for you. So the importance is to just be thankful for those people, because they're going to remember how you treated them during that time of your life. Oh, this is a hard patch for Raquel. She want to be ugly towards me because I didn't do this for her. I'm not going to be that way. And I wasn't that way the entire journey. And I've learned to not be that way at all, because I love everyone. And I think, if you have a good heart and good intentions to do that for me, then of course, I'm going to be thankful for that little bit, because that's more than a stranger would have done. And I'm the type of person where I know how busy life can get. And you think somebody come across your mind and you're like, oh God, I pray that they're okay, or I pray everything is going great for them. And I don't get to see them or go to their house like I wanted to. And I can only think, like, there's people out there who are the same way and probably were the same way even about me. And I'm so thankful for that, because they said my name. They called out my name to God. And my journey has not been terrible. It has been hard, but it hasn't been terrible. And I'm so thankful for the ones who just prayed, who said my name out loud, who thought of me, who just texted me or called me to check in, or came by to see me, or brought me food during my journey. The little things matter. And I'm the type of person where I love doing things for other people. Like, when I get to a place where I'm, back on my feet, I can't wait to get back to those who have loved me and just been so kind and loving and caring through my journey. So I'm very thankful for that. But just make sure you don't discredit those who had intentions to and couldn't. Number 12. This is probably the most important. Life happens. It's about how you respond that matters. So during my journey with cancer, it's not anything that I feel that I could have done differently. You do go through the why me section, but technically, why not you? You called and you have a purpose, and your testimony is there to help someone. But if you responded in a negative way, if you just thought down about every situation that you've gone through, how can you live a positive life? How can you see the lesson in it? How can you see the blessing in the lesson? This part of my life has made me a better person, and I cannot be any more thankful. So you just make sure that you respond positively to those situations that happen, because life does happen regardless. There's sometimes you can't, there's things you can't avoid. But just make sure that you answer that call positively, with grace, and pray your way through, because God is going to see you through that. So those are the 12 lessons I've learned during my diagnosis with cancer. Tomorrow is my last treatment. I am very excited, and I'm thankful to God for everything that I have been through, because it has molded me and made me into a better person. Thank you to my family, to my friends, to my supporters, to the people who have reached out to me near and far. You guys have been a blessing to me, to say the least, and I thank God for you. So I hope this video has been a blessing, and I will talk with you soon. I promise to make a video sooner than later. And I hope you guys have a very merry, happy new year.